Good evening, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host, Ahmed Nawaz. We're going to start off with the T20 World Cup that is underway in the UAE. We've got exciting encounters with Pakistan. Were able to defeat Namibia last night. They did it convincingly after scoring 189 runs. Mohammad Rizwan, man of the match for his stellar 79 not-out performance. Babar Azam also getting 17, also making his way into the top of the T20 rankings as well. Good to see that Pakistan found form for players who weren't in form, especially Mohammad Hafiz getting that 30. I think that will give him a lot of self-belief and self-confidence for his own ability as well going into the semi-finals. It was good bowling, of course. Namibia bowled well at the start, were able to restrict Pakistan, but Pakistan didn't give wickets away again. So their plan was simple and they batted deep. Mohammad Rizwan got 24 off the last over that propelled Pakistan to 189. So that was brilliant to see. As far as Pakistan's bowling is concerned, it was pretty decent. They were trying to do some experiments with the dew factor and they tried their best, of course, that they can get over the line as well. We'll be talking about that. We'll also be talking about the fact that Scotland is chasing a target against New Zealand. Scotland needed another 68 runs of 28 deliveries last time I checked. But it's a very important group. We don't know who's the second team that's going to qualify, but Pakistan has qualified for the semi-finals. So I think congratulations to the entire nation, the cricket team, the cricket board, everybody, that Pakistan is the first team to qualify for the semi-finals of the T20 World Cup. And as far as the second team is concerned, like we said, that it's going to be decided probably by tonight's second match, that is between India and Afghanistan, because if Afghanistan is able to win, it would set the tone, but if Afghanistan loses, then it's once again calculations all over again. Very important match. India have lost 2 out of 2. They're under pressure. Afghanistan is a bit more confident that they can beat India than they have ever been before. So it's going to be very tough, I think, for both teams. It's Abu Dhabi. Maybe the wicket is the green top which Pakistan played on. You never know. But as far as the spin ability of Afghanistan is concerned, I think we also have to talk about their batting that can really chase down a target because they're very aggressive players. So we'll be talking about all of that and also talking about the fact that Pakistan now is going to be facing a challenge where we see them going into the knockout stages. So how can they transcend this form now, because the semi-final is a do or die, so no chance for mistake as well. In the second half of the show, we'll be discussing something very special. The Chief of Army Staff for Pakistan Open International Taekwondo Championship 2021 begins in Islamabad on the 6th. Players are arriving from various countries. You'll be surprised with the number of countries that are participating in this, from technical officials, from technical delegates to players, athletes, everybody, even from Pakistan. More than 550 athletes are participating in this huge event that is going to be held in Islamabad, and I think it's going to be a game changer for Taekwondo, not just in Pakistan but for the entire world. It's a G1 event, so we understand the importance of this as well. So we'll be discussing this further. Time now to introduce my guests for cricket. In studios, I've been joined first of all by cricket expert and a very avid YouTuber that he is. He's putting up a lot of videos these days, and he always is. He loves cricket like we do. Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam. So thank you.
Good to have you on the show.
Absolutely, pleasure.
And we also have been joined by a cricket expert who is completely involved with the game. And I think he's pretty happy as well, because certainly these are times to be cheerful. If we close our eyes towards football and just keep seeing cricket, then these are good times indeed. Hassan Hussain Qureshi. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Assalamu alaikum, Ahmed ji. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Good to have you on the show as well. Right, Sabir, first of all, talking about last night's match, we did knew that Pakistan will qualify after winning this. But I think before we come to Pakistan, we need to give a lot of credit to Namibia. They're a really fantastic side for cricket.
Absolutely. Namibia basically is a kind of a minnow, but I mean they have been playing really well, especially before Super 12. They have basically beat Ireland, Netherlands, one of the top teams. I mean, as far as they are concerned. I mean, hats off to them. But especially well played David Visa. I mean, he basically left South Africa and he basically joined Namibia. And is kind of a role he has been playing for Namibian cricket. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, good to see, these kind of, minnows team basically performing really well against the big teams. I mean, last night, I mean, they played really well. They made 144 something. I mean, better than Afghanistan and India as well, because India is kind of a wonderful team and, so many world-class players. But, I mean, hats off to Namibia. Also, I think they bowled really well, especially the first 10 overs. I mean, Babar Azam is a world-class player.
How do you like their left-arm fast bowler, Truppelman? Who is that?
Absolutely. I mean, they basically bowled wonderfully well. And our Pakistani batsmen, openers batters, they struggled. They struggled in initial 10 overs. I mean, again, hats off to Mohammad Rizwan. He basically played a calculated inning. I mean, there were lots of criticism, because everybody wants Sharjeel Khan and Fakhr Zaman in opening slot, but I mean, the way Rizwan is basically playing it, hats off to him. In my opinion, basically, I am considering Mohammad Rizwan in the line of, kind of a Babar Azam and Virat Kohli kind of a caliber, because he has been playing fantastically well. Look at his strike rate. I mean, he is basically struggling in initial 6 overs, but the way he basically took the charge, especially in last overs, I mean, hats off to him, and Pakistan played really well. All basically boxes were ticked. I mean, Mohammad Hafiz played really well, and everybody basically wanted the middle order should click. And thanks to Mohammad Hafiz, he basically played really well. And also in bowling department, Hassan Ali was bowling really well last night. I mean, good to see Ahmad Wasim is also, an economical bowler. But I mean, Shadab Khan needs to, kick.
He was trying experiments. We saw that with the due factor as well. It's very, very important that Pakistan tried a lot of experiments. For Shadab particularly, he was trying to bowl outside the off stump, trying to get the ball to turn. Ahmad Wasim was trying to get it turned. Hassan Ali was given the new ball. So I like the fact that Pakistan was experimenting, trying out different things. Hassan, Hussain, Qureshi, how did you find the game? And the fact is that we had a fear that if Pakistan goes into the semi-finals and has to bat first, then what would that strategy be? If they had to bowl in due conditions, what would that be like? So do you think that it's good that Pakistan have had it the other way around? They've batted first, they've bowled in due, so now they look like a complete side that is ready for the semi-finals.
I think it's great that we took a risk, Ahmedji. I think it's great that the captain showed the desire to try something different. We could have looked to chase, probably done well again. We came up against a different kind of bowling attack from what we're used to, players that we're not used to seeing other than, David Wiese. So I think that was good. It was important to try different things. And the fact that we didn't panic, being Pakistani fans, we're always worried. There's a part of us that's always stressed out that something or the other is going to go wrong. We're going to lose to the minnows, do so well. But after a poor start, the way Rizwan and Babar capitalized, and like Sabir Bhai said, when Hafiz came in and just continued his good form, it was nice to see us, not panic. And I think that's the most important thing that we can take away from this, that we walk away from this from a difficult conditions in the game and a difficult team, maybe not a great team, obviously, but one that could have been a potential banana skin. And to walk away from that so well also, it augurs well, and hopefully it helps us maintain the rhythm and maintain the momentum.
Yeah, Hassan, about Namibia, as a side, they've impressed us already by qualifying, but now scoring 144, bowling this well against a quality side of Pakistan. How do you rate them as the next probably sensation in international cricket?
They've been brilliant. You have to remember it's a small country. They've got a few players with South African roots, with Namibian roots from South Africa. So it's really good to see them doing well. It was really nice to see the Pakistan team going into the dressing room afterwards, meeting those guys. Everybody in Pakistan knows David Wiese. I think, it's about time they named a flyover after him in Lahore. And the fact is that it's really good. They have the opportunity to kick on and become a better side. And what better way to do it than losing to Pakistan and hopefully beating India? They'll be legends forever.
Definitely, that they probably can pull that off with the conditions that the Indian team is going through. You never know. What is your opinion about the strategy of Pakistan? Because we've seen that even when they were batting second, they tried their best not to lose a wicket in the power play. I'll be very honest, last night I did have a feeling that this is not going according to plan. But the way Mohammad Rizwan and Babar Azam then compensated for the lost 6 overs was something good to see.
Yesterday they were really struggling, to be very honest. They were trying some silly shots, but fortunate for Pakistan. Babar Azam, even Mohammad Rizwan, I think he was LBW, but it was, outside
overturn, yes.
Yeah. He was lucky. But it's the same kind of situation, if again comes, against the big teams like, in semi-final spot, maybe England or, South Africa or Australia. Pakistan, need to calculate their innings. There has been lots of criticism as far as the power play is concerned. Pakistani batsmen, especially Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan, they have been struggling in power plays. So yesterday they did struggle against Namibia. So I mean, they have to calculate their innings properly, because you cannot get the same situation after after 10 overs. I mean, because you have some quality teams. I mean, in semifinals like England, Australia, and South Africa. So I mean, they have to think properly, because I mean, Mohammad Hafiz need to click, and Fakhar Zaman basically he has been playing really well in warm-up matches. He basically showed his form against South Africa and against some other teams as well. But I mean, and in crucial matches like against Afghanistan and against New Zealand as well, he basically struggled. He took so many balls against New Zealand, but against Afghanistan, he basically played some calculated shots and 30 plus runs. It was the useful contribution. But I mean, they need to really click. If Pakistan has to bat first, they have to basically think about 170, 180, because the due factor obviously will come. There's no doubt about it. But Pakistani spinners, Ahmad Wasim and Shadab Khan, and also the fielding as well. Shaheen Shafridi, I think last night he basically dropped a catch.
Yeah, they were very easy last night.
They're very easy. Obviously, the due factor will come. So that shows Pakistan basically has to add at least 20 to 30 runs additional, because 170, 180 could be defendable on these kind of pitches, and also the due factor will obviously
that will disturb you. That probably would disturb us as well. Hassan, Hussain, Qureshi, what is your take now? If Pakistan have to bat first in the semis or the final, then what do you think would be a safe total, considering the World Cup right now with the average total batting first in night games going to above 170? Right, we're having some technical difficulties. I think I'm unable to hear Hassan Qureshi, but I'll stick to the Pakistan game as well. Hassan, can you hear me? Right, technical difficulties. Right, so let's talk about individuals now. We've discussed this factor, we've discussed Pakistan's preparations and everything. Now, there seems to be a bit of trouble going on for other teams right now, and I'm glad that this time it's not us who are praying that some calculations go into perspective. What do you think is going to happen now? We know England, Pakistan are definitely through.
Yeah.
Who are the other two you think are going to make
I mean, I was basically quite surprised to see South Africa basically progressing.
They can still make it, yes.
They still play, but I mean, Australia were supposed to, they are basically World Cup kind of a team. I mean, Australia, they have proved previously so many times in so many World Cups, 50-year World Cups as well. Australia is a big team, but I mean, they are basically struggling. They struggled before the World Cup against Bangladesh. I mean, they lost, I think for 4 T20s. Yeah. I mean, they have been struggling. I don't know. I mean, their focus is not on T20s, maybe on test matches as well. But I mean, Australia is struggling. Good to see Afghanistan are progressing, and also South Africa are basically progressing as well.
How important is this game tonight, Afghanistan against India? Because and let me be very honest, India is very down right now, completely under pressure. On the other hand, Afghanistan has nothing to lose. So how do you rate this match now?
Indians basically are their captain basically saying they were not brave enough against New Zealand. I mean, I think they're kind of a fatigue kind of situation because of IPL. They are mentally basically down. Their morals are basically down. They are big players. I mean, Rohit Sharma, I think they are mentally kind of not strong enough, because they dropped Rohit Sharma to the one-down position. They basically, Ishan Kishan was supposed to, come in the middle order, like Rishabh Pant. I mean, I think the strategies are not working properly.
Panicking probably?
They are panicking. They are panicking because there's lots of media criticism as well. With Mohammad Shami kind of a situation, you have seen it. Last night, I mean, Virat Kohli is struggling because of criticism on his family as well. So I mean, it's very, 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 very sad to see that Indian cricket basically are going down because especially on big events. I mean, they lost semi-final in 2019 against New Zealand. They lost World Test Championship as well.
You make a very important point. Hassan has joined us once again. Hassan, it's good to see that from this side of the border, there have been optimistic views about Team India. Pakistanis have really wanted them to do well and qualify, because they've actually taken it as true cricket fans. They said India's got quality, they've got talent, we want them to qualify, we want them to do well. While it's absolutely obnoxious that from the other side we see such criticism that their captain has been facing, who's been probably the best for India after Sachin Tendulkar and MST, who's been the find for them if you talk about cricket, and things like these. Well, Hassan, once again, I think, can you hear me, Hassan?
Sad to see MSG. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Please continue.
No. Okay. So I think you're absolutely right. It's been really sad to see, and I think Sabir Bhai is right. They look very disjointed. I think they're having internal struggles. I think whether it's the coaching staff and the players, something's not working out for them. And then, of course, we are dealing with the fact that some fans in India are using this as an opportunity to really show a very poor side, of their society with the way they're behaving. And I think the loss to Pakistan has rattled them. And after that, they've really not been able to get going. And I keep finding some people talking about the IPL being bigger than the World Cup. Very strange at a time like this, because the World Cup is the World Cup. Whether it's T20, whether it's ODI cricket, it's the biggest thing. Playing for your country has to be the most important thing. And I think some of the players have not bought into that. Maybe they're mentally still sitting there thinking, yeah, but I've got my IPL gig, so I don't really need this. And it's showing. It's showing in their performances. We're not seeing the intensity. We're not seeing the way India is used to playing. And maybe, and of course, as Pakistan keeps doing better, it rankles, because it would rankle for us as opposition fans also. But there seem to be a lot of problems underneath the surface. And I think Indian cricket is now finding itself at a stage where after this, they might need to have another reboot, need to change the way they've been doing things, and certainly change their attitude towards world tournaments. Because like Sabir Bhai said, it's not like they've won anything big from a while now. People talk about Pakistan. The last tournament India won was in 2011, if I'm not wrong. The World Cup, since then, it's not like they've been racking up World Cups either.
So, Hassan, what would you like to say about the game tonight in just a short amount of time? Afghanistan against India, considering how down India has been, they've pressed the panic button, it hasn't worked, lost 2 out of 2. On the other hand, Afghanistan's got nothing to lose, they want to give 200%.
Absolutely, I think it'll be a tough game. I do think India have enough strength overall. They wouldn't want to lose to Afghanistan or any of the other so-called lesser sides, in their opinion. I think they'll come out fighting, but you can never count against the Afghan spirit. And obviously, I've got family connections with Afghanistan, so I'll be backing them 100,000%. If they win it, they'll have quite a lot of fans on both sides of the border. So hopefully it's a good game. And of course, I hope Afghanistan wins.
Are you celebrating with some good Afghan food as well?
Inshallah, if they win, absolutely, that's 100% going to make my night.
Sabir, considering Afghanistan were a quality side, their strength particularly relies on their spin attack and their hard-hitting batsmen. And we all know what Zazai, Shehzad and Rahman bring to that table. And then, of course, they go down the order. Rashid can even bat, who's already batting very low. I think he should come up the order. Yeah. India, on the other hand, need to go out strong. They want to prove a point, end the World Cup on a positive note if they're being knocked out. So, in your opinion, it's Abu Dhabi. We don't know the wicket yet. For both the teams, what is the scenario? What would they want to do first after winning the toss?
For both teams, there are 2 words basically, mature and immature. Afghanistan basically is a kind of immature team. They are basically new to the cricketing world. I mean, India is a wonderful team and mature kind of a team. But India basically played their both matches on Dubai. But Afghanistan, they have been playing in Abu Dhabi for their basically home ground matches as well, against Zimbabwe, against Scotland, against Ireland as well. So they know the conditions really well as compared to India. Tonight might be, I'm giving favor to Afghanistan because of the spinners. They basically need to bat sensibly.
What would you like to see them do if they win the toss?
All guns blazing, against...
No, if they win the toss, bat first, ball first.
I think they should bat first. 150, 160, Indian basically will struggle. If they get out, Rohit Sharma or KL Rahul, initial overs, Virat Kohli will struggle because of captaincy pressure, his own form as well. World Cup competition, they might be knockout tonight as well. So Virat Kohli will be under pressure. Afghanistan basically need to take first initial wickets. Obviously Rohit Sharma and KL Rahul, and in the middle order Rishabh Pant. Everybody knows about Rishabh Pant. He's kind of Umar Akmal kind of a batsman, and Ishan Kishan and Hardik Pandya. He has been struggling. I'm very quite disappointed with Hardik Pandya. I think some other batsmen should be getting chance, and they have some other batsmen as well. Ashwin should play, I think.
But that's a very disappointing fact that they don't play Ashwin.
Varun Chakravarti was a good selection. He was a kind of a trump card for
But he's
India.
not a mystery spinner as they were expecting.
He was a mystery spinner, but Pakistan basically played really well. Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan basically played really well. Against New Zealand, he had no runs to defend. I mean, 110 something. I mean, but tonight I think Ashwin should be,
So definitely Sabir has called Afghanistan now. Before I close the segment, Hassan, Hussain, Qureshi, very important factor. It's Abu Dhabi. Last night we saw Pakistan playing on a green top. If it's the same wicket, I'm not sure of that yet. And if India are playing on the same wicket, then it might be a point where the spin factor might be neutralized for Afghanistan. But at the same time, if the ball comes onto the bat, then Afghanis can bat well. And I'm saying this question because, we're all cricket freaks, but we've got the biggest cricket freak sitting in our MCR. His name is Kaisar Sati, and he's been asking this question and he's been identifying this since yesterday. And I must give a shout out to him as well, because he is truly a person who's got cricket in his blood. So I know that personally because he's been one of my cricketing coach and teachers as well. I've played a lot of cricket under him. But he asks this question. So what is going to be your take on this?
Amaji, the great Shane Warne always used to say, if it seems, it'll spin. So I think if it's the green top, yes, it might neutralize. But when you look at someone like Mujib, he doesn't really spin the ball that much. For him, it's all about creating the angles. Rashid has the pace to trouble the batsman also. I think what Afghanistan need to try and do is put pressure, whether they're batting first or bowling first, regardless of the conditions, if they're a bit sticky, if it's a seaming top, whatever, they need to try and put pressure. And if they can put pressure, the way India are at the moment, if there is even a little chance to sort of put the pressure and, kind of stick the knife in, then they might, have an opportunity. But of course, if everything clicks for India, we know that the class that they possess, the players that they possess, and the players were recently playing on these very venues for the IPL. So at the same time, I think Afghanistan will be thinking to themselves, they have to just go out there, play their brand of cricket and give it their best shot. This might be their best opportunity to beat a world-class side. And if they do that, it's something that will remain with them for a very long time.
Definitely. I think we'll call it there. And just to give you news that has come from the match between New Zealand and Scotland, New Zealand has won the game by 17 runs. So they've now gotten 2 victories, and they've got very crucial points as well at the same time. So good to see whether Afghanistan's game would now be affecting, how that would affect the tournament tone as well. But Hassan, Hussain, Qureshi and Sabir, thank you so much for joining us on Sports Extra. On that note, we'll just go towards a short break, but stay tuned, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Sports Extra with me, Ahmed Nawaz. Time now for a very special segment. We talked about the Chief of Army Staff Pakistan Open International Taekwondo Cup that's going to begin in Pakistan from the 6th. Like I said, there are a lot of technical delegates, players are in the process of arriving. It's going to start on the 6th. This event is huge, 550 plus athletes, a G1 event in Pakistan. We already know that Taekwondo has been bringing a lot of laurels for Pakistan. Currently, in the past as well, they've got a great structure. I think the Pakistan Taekwondo Federation deserves a lot of credit for their entire team being led by Colonel Wasim, the president, to everybody that is involved in various fields. I think it's a phenomenal job that they've been doing in not just for getting this G1 event into Pakistan, but already the structure of Taekwondo in Pakistan and how regularly our athletes are participating in international competitions. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we'll be talking all about this and various aspects of the technicalities involved in as well. I'm very lucky that I've been joined by three people who would be talking about their respective domains in the tournament. First of all, our very dear brother, from two of these brothers are joining us from our brotherly country of Iraq. We'll be talking to them. First of all, Zeyad Tariq, who is an authorized PSS operator, is joining us. Assalamu alaikum, Zeyad. How are you?
Alaikum assalam, my dear sir. Everything is okay, alhamdulillah.
Good to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, my dear
And
sir.
you know, talking about Taekwondo, I was discussing it the other day on one of the press conferences as well, that we talk about the athletes, we talk about the technicalities, but I think the man in between the action is always an international referee who's got to keep the technical side of it on spot as well, and also make sure that the game is proceeding according to the rules and regulations and the laws of international Taekwondo as well. So we need to talk about this more and more, because I think there are a lot of technicalities that we want to know. And for people who want to take this as a career, they want to know this as well. Another dear brother joining us from Iraq is Shevan, Lazgin, Younis. Assalamu alaikum, how are you?
Alaikum assalam. Thank you everyone. Thank you. I am very happy. First time I'm coming in Pakistan, and you people very kind. Thank you so much.
Great to have you. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
And definitely discussing, I think, the primary aspect over here now, another very important domain is the medical side of it. The director medical team of the Chief of Army Staff Taekwondo Championship, Dr. Shabeel Nawab, is also joining us now. With Dr. Saab, it's always charismatic personality that he is. Always so charming, always very friendly. But I'm sure that I'm going to be talking to him and knowing his side of the game in this championship as well. Assalamu alaikum, Dr. Saab.
Wa assalam.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the invitation, first of all. And it's great to be here.
Dr. Saab, I love your tie. What a swag that you're bringing in.
Thank you so much.
So great to have you on the show.
So much.
Right, first of all, my dear sir,
Yes.
for people who are not familiar with this, what a PSS operator is, please tell us about that.
Okay, first of all, I should have to thank the general invitation from Pakistan Taekwondo Federation, especially the president of PTF, Mr. Raja. First of all, about PSS, we have rules should have to complete it in competition. We have to examine all our devices and before tournament, and we should have to make it ready before 1-2 days. Every single detail we should have to check it. Okay, and we work on now. From yesterday we start to do that.
So there are experiments going on with this.
Yes, every single thing. Me and my colleagues there in Pakistan Taekwondo Federation, especially at the hall of tournament. You know, it's a big event will happen here in Pakistan, and we are also glad and happy to be here, because really Iraq Taekwondo Federation and also Pakistan Taekwondo Federation from the past, they are strong friends. So we take this long way from Iraq till here to Pakistan to help you friends to make this a big, great championship.
Inshallah, that is the hope, and I think Zeyad is right, because Pakistan and Iraq have brotherly ties, you know, so much common faith and culture. And what a great historic moment that a couple of days we had the first international flight to Najaf as well. So I think that was another big step in promoting people-to-people contacts and you know, talking about this as well. But Shevan, because Zeyad has mentioned the Taekwondo Federation in Iraq as well. So please tell us about that and the structure of Taekwondo in Iraq.
Yes. Now about Taekwondo in Iraq is very good. You're working because coming new staff in the federation Taekwondo. I thank you about present Federation Taekwondo Iraq, Dr. Ibrahim Bahadli, because he do good job about you now working Federation Taekwondo. Not only I am an international referee in Taekwondo, but have more my friend me international referee. But I am happy about now. I am first time coming in Pakistan. Inshallah, next year I'm coming back. Thank you.
We will want to have you again and again. Inshallah, that is the hope.
Inshallah.
But obviously, I think we've been talking about the importance of this G1 event. It's not just to have Taekwondo, but you know, the brotherly feeling we have right now. People from Iraq coming in, like you know, Shevan has mentioned, it's the first time in Pakistan, and he hopes to come again. So a lot of culture being shared as well at the same time. Doctor, when we talk about you, I know that one important aspect that we know is that you've been a big support for this tournament as well, officially. And even if I don't discuss that side of it, but being the director of the medical team, what are the challenges and the responsibilities that you'll be going through for the next couple of days?
So see, it's been 25 years that Nawab Labs is in the market, and we have always emphasized on giving the best towards Pakistan, to the pride of Pakistan. It comes up with the challenges, but you know, previously we have been the health partners for several different for events. Previously it was in 2011, and then this COVID came in between. So obviously we have to cater up with our best resources. We have two MOs, we have physicians as well with us. We have a COVID testing system, so we would be conducting COVID testing for the athletes who would be joining in this event. We are very excited for this because obviously it's some other countries are contributing in Pakistan, and we want to give the best out of this situation.
Doctor, because you've got a vast experience now, so let's create a line where we know that pre-COVID times it was different now, but because we're in era of a COVID pandemic, and you know, it's difficult now to manage everything with social distancing and everything coming in. How challenging, in your opinion, in your expert opinion, is to have an event of such a large scale and also ensure that COVID protocols are followed? Because obviously these are new things now, rapid testing, PCR testing, everything coming into perspective.
So see, with the time coming up, things were very different previously. Things were very simpler in terms of everything. But now, because of the COVID, we have to adhere the strict policies as per NCOC. So we had to come up, we have to make people understand that how important it is in the practical daily lives, that we have to save each one from each another. Previously things were very easier, but now we have to be very much into this, because together we have to save it. And from my point of view, that people are now coming up to this perspective, because now vaccine has come up. The risk has reduced obviously, but it's not over yet. We have to be very careful from one another, because vaccine reduces the probability of risk, but it doesn't eliminate COVID.
Good. So that's very important for people to understand, that even if you're vaccinated, do keep social distancing and all COVID SOPs in check as well. But coming back to the game itself, and I think Shevan, for first of all, being an international referee is a lot of responsibility. So like I was asking Zeyad as well about the structure, and so did you initially start as a player, or did you think that, okay, the referee is something that I want to be first on?
No, I am starting before I am referee. I am a player after coach, after working with Federation Iraq about referee. I am go more course national with WTF about you have card national about you can go outside to another country, you're international referee. I told now about something important about Taekwondo, how you important your family, big family, your Taekwondo, you do. Very important, any country, you have champions. So about Grand Slam, G1, G2, no problem. Only about now this event, how in Pakistan, you're coming more country, your player, your coach, your referee. So that is big family, you know, together. That is big happiness, you know, in event in Pakistan. Thank you about again said present Federation Taekwondo Pakistan, Mr. Wasim Ahmed, about this event. Good, thank you.
Definitely. And at the same time, we're also hoping that you know, when Shevan and our referees and umpires and everybody who get to share the same stage, there would be a lot of learning process as well for some of these people as well. Talking about your particular job in this tournament, and like you mentioned that it's very technical, the system has been tested and everything involved now. Everything in this world is now being modernized through technology.
Of course.
So how helpful has technology been in Taekwondo? How helpful has it? How has it changed Taekwondo now?
Yes. See, at the past times before PSS coming, everything was manually. Okay, we were right, but now that's changed, and this changes make eliminate the time.
Errors and everything.
Yes, because the tournament was taking about 5 days. Now only 2 days. Okay, and at the same time we're working on PSS. The data sent directly to WTF, to KPMP, the operator company, also to organizer committee in the same competition.
So you mean that at the same time everybody's monitoring it?
Everyone who was connected with this championship knows what happened at the hall. Okay, this is make a big difference. Also, make the champion. It's so beautiful, and the most important thing is a fear for everyone. It's a fair, for everyone.
For everybody.
Yes.
So there are no questions about anything going biased.
About scoring, about points, about anything, about chumps, about everything is on board. You can see the board and.
So as a referee, are you also satisfied that now everything, because of this technology of PSS, is easy for the referee?
Yes, exactly. Very easy now. This system you're working with referee, because before maybe some resulted not good about your player together, but now
Make
in
problems.
system much better, and about your any player you moving in event in champions, you easier you see you pointed and you not have pointed, you have come jump, you not have come jump. That is now much better about the system now.
So that means that because of Zeyad and his system, Shevan's life is now so much easier. So as a referee, he can relax and be so. Dr. Saab, final thoughts now. I'm coming to the close of the program. It's a huge event. Like I said, 550 plus athletes. And I do know that a medical team in every sphere of life really deserves a lot of credit and applaud. So please do tell us about your team finally. You highlighted it, but in detail, that you're going to be there through the tournament and even before and after that, because these players have to go back as well.
Yes.
So tell us about your team and the plans that you've got.
So right now we have already established our setup. That's at Serena. And the players would be getting tested during these days because the main event would start from 6th. Right?
Yes.
So we have all the team that is ready, that is very much delighted, because we are the pride of Pakistan. We want to contribute whatever we can for Pakistan, maybe in little touches, but whatever we can. So our team is pretty much excited. We have doctors, we have phlebotomist, we have everything in the right order, and we are good to go with that. With the COVID testing, I would like to tell that the international players, once they reach here, they have to get tested, and once they would be leaving from Pakistan, they have to get tested as well.
For their departure as well. That's how SOPs work. But I think all in all, we're in for a great tournament. Dr. Saab, thank you so much for joining us, taking out time.
Really
Shevan and Zeyad, we
Thank
really
you.
hope that you've got a great time in Pakistan,
Thank
not
you.
just the
Inshallah.
tournament,
Thank you so much.
but even after that, we're
Inshallah.
hopeful
Thank
that
you.
you got a
Good
good
night,
time, and best of luck for the tournament. On that note, once again, I'll highlight that it's going to be an extravagant event on the 6th of this month, 6th till the 8th, that it continues in Islamabad. It's the Chief of the Army Staff Pakistan Open International Taekwondo Cup. More than 550 athletes, and like I said, the number of countries participating is also phenomenal in terms of athletes and technical delegates as well. So it's going to be a cracker, and I'm definitely hoping to see a lot of you there as well, because I know that I'm going to be joining the event. So it's going to be a good enough event that we see, and obviously some great avenues for promotion of Taekwondo in Pakistan as well. From that note, from me and the entire team, it's goodbye for now.